Every new year, we optimistically look towards the next, hoping it will be the one things change. But looking back, we see they have seemingly changed for the worse. In this video, we're going to take a look over the horizon to make predictions on what lurks in 2024. Can technology save us, or is it more of a threat than we know? I guarantee you haven't given enough thought to the final item on our list. This video is a harsh reality check on where our society stands as we head into a new year. The question is simple: will 2024 be the year that a crumbling society finally collapses? In this video, we pull back the curtain on the potential crises that could redefine our world in the blink of an eye. In a countdown of tipping points, we have to start with the most dramatic and traumatic events likely to unfold in the next year. If you've turned on the news recently, you've seen the words extreme and unprecedented mentioned about storms at a ridiculous rate. But the word reporters cannot say is unforeseen, as these storms have been predicted by scientists for years. Sea surface temperatures over 100 degrees Fahrenheit off the coast of Florida is a clear and flashing red alarm. Warm ocean water powers hurricanes. It is that simple. As the seas absorbs more and more heat, storms will grow in power and frequency, quickly climbing and overtopping our charts and historic records. Sea surface temperatures are alarming enough, but they also hide another danger. Warming oceans also hold less oxygen, in extreme cases leading to dead zones or areas of the ocean so low in oxygen that they no longer support marine life. If fish aren't important, keep in mind the ecosystems that they are part of, which sustain life on land. According to a report that came out early last year, the oceans are now absorbing an excess amount of heating energy equal to 5 Hiroshima atomic bomb going off in the ocean every second. Oceans are slow to warm, but they can hold tremendous amounts of energy. The sea surface temperatures may be alarming, but they hide a far greater danger below. As ocean surfaces heat, the energy slowly makes its way deeper into the water column, creating a jetpack for hurricanes where there used to be a set brakes. This is because as a hurricane moves over the ocean, it pulls deeper water up to the surface. If this water is cool, it slows the hurricane's development. If instead it is pulling warm water from deep in the water column, then the storm can spiral into a catastrophic monster in a matter of hours. This is what happened to Acapulco, Mexico on October 25, 2023, when Tropical Storm Otis crossed over a patch of warm 88-degree water, superpowering it from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane in just 12 hours, and making it the strongest Pacific hurricane to make landfall in recorded history. While most of us only watch this on the news, if your home is near the path of hurricanes, a tipping point has already been crossed. Hurricanes will grow in intensity and frequency, and that tipping point will wash over your area someday, inevitably. A storm with unprecedented intensity will cause catastrophic damage to your area, or one nearby. After struggling to pay out, insurers will make the smart business choice and quit insuring coastal regions, or they'll raise rates to extreme levels to absorb the costs of climate change. Those living in wildfire-prone areas on the west have already experienced this recalculation on rates. Many insurers pulled out entirely, forcing the state to step in to avoid a collapse. But even with a state-instituted insurance option, the rates have skyrocketed. So what happens when those rates start to get reflected in home values? In 2024, as we grapple with the aftermath of nature's fury, we will face a new crisis in our cities. The commercial real estate sector, a backbone of many economies, is on crumbling ground. Picture this: vast office spaces, once buzzing hives of activity, sitting eerily silent, consequences of a post-pandemic world where remote work has diminished the need for physical office space. But there's more to this story. Rising interest rates, the government's attempt to tame inflation, have struck the real estate market with a double blow. Not only has borrowing become more expensive, but the increased rates also devalue properties, squeezing the financial health of real estate owners. We're not just talking about numbers on a balance sheet. We're talking about real impacts on communities and livelihood as cities get stripped of their value. In a dramatic twist, the very technology designed to streamline our lives could exacerbate this crisis. As we approach 2024, AI is poised to revolutionize the workplace, automating tasks and rendering many office roles redundant immediately. This isn't science fiction either, it's a reality unfolding before our eyes. In 2024, as AI assumes more administrative and customer service roles, companies may find less need for physical offices, and vacancies could surge. If your work is done on a computer, simply put, the tipping point is quickly coming for you and your finances. For everyone else, who may think your job is safe because of your amazing human capabilities. Go watch the new Tesla bot called Optimus as it cooks eggs, and remember it could be smarter than the sum of humanity soon. This scenario also paints a grim picture for property owners. Many face maturing mortgages under stricter lending conditions, compounded by declining incomes and higher prices. For some, the only options are distressing. take on more debt without a plan to escape it, sell your property at a loss, or in the worst case, foreclose. For financial industries, tech giants and AI innovators' profit margins will soar as labor costs plummet. But this comes at the cost of job displacement and a widening economic divide. As more and more people lose their homes and jobs, the social divide will grow and tempers will rise. Political landscapes across the globe are shifting towards conflict and authoritarianism. In the United States, the 2024 election looms large. Once a beacon for democracy, it is now fraught with the potential for division and unrest. Imagine a world where every economic hardship, every natural disaster fuels the flames of discontent and rebellion. The potential for civil unrest is a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. On the global stage, the chessboard is set for conflict. Resource wars are no longer a dystopian fantasy. They are a looming reality. Water, land, and food, the basic necessities of life, are becoming the flashpoints for conflicts around the world. And as the world grapples with economic and environmental crises, political instability follows. Nations on the edge could tip into authoritarianism or worse. The specter of nuclear conflict, once a relic of a bygone era, has returned to haunt our global consciousness. In an unstable world, the unthinkable becomes possible. Let's zoom out from the people of our society to the fundamental pillars that support them: energy and food. The world is in the throes of an energy crisis, as we have to work harder and harder to recover less and less from our fossil fuel reserves. As we struggle to transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources, the growing pains are evident. Energy costs are skyrocketing, and the impact is felt in every home, every industry, every aspect of daily life. Technological innovators, like the developers of the Tesla bot Optimus, would like people to believe that a globally beneficial energy overhaul is possible. In truth, this transition is further pushing the world towards the brink of collapse, as rare earth elements as well as more common elements like copper are in higher and higher demand. You may feel like you've helped the planet by buying an electric vehicle, but the children mining cobalt in the Democratic Republic of the Congo would disagree, as vast areas of their homeland becomes polluted. Copper, a fundamental building block of our electrical grid, could sometimes be mined in the richer countries that demand it, but their environmental regulations don't allow such destructive activities within their own borders. Luckily for the richer nations, countries like Peru and Chile can't enforce as strict of regulations, so these nations get to bear the cost of our transition, as their natural resources are plundered and their water supplies are poisoned, all done by global conglomerates to enrich the already wealthy. The drawdown of our resources can only be offset for so long until too many people are depending on agricultural lands that can no longer produce enough food. Already, climate extremes are stressing crops around the world. Food shortages and soaring prices are becoming the new normal. Imagine a world where your next meal isn't just a walk to the fridge away, but a question mark, a source of anxiety. This is the reality for an increasing number of people across the globe, as we grapple with the harsh truth of our environmental impact. As we approach these potential tipping points in our society's collapse, technology is quick to offer itself as the great solution. After all, in 1970, scientists predicted that a food shortage would soon lead to famines as the population surged. That crisis was averted by turning to industrial fertilizers and away from small-scale farming, literally allowing humanity to turn stored natural gas into nitrogen to feed the plants we eat. With the invention of this Haber-Bosch process, humankind gained the ability to use stored energy reserves, not just for power, but for food. Cheap energy is used to divert water across hundreds of miles to water fertilizer-enriched plants. Technology has taken us this far. Perhaps it can bring us the solution to all-out problems as AI-driven research explodes. Technological advancements are progressing at an unprecedented pace. But with great power comes great risk. The development of artificial general intelligence, AGI, and potentially artificial superintelligence, ASI, represents a risk to humanity unlike any other. While an artificial superintelligence may seem far-fetched, consider this. The language of computing is code. What we might identify as the thinking part of AI is also a sort of code developed within the mind of AI. Already, our early forms of AI are being used to develop new code that is often superior to what humans have created. What this means is that an AI given proper instruction could at some point edit its own programming to become more capable and more able to interpret information. It could then consume the full knowledge of human existence, written out in our books, scientific journals, Reddit forums, and social media accounts. It could be the first form of intelligence to consume the entire library of YouTube videos. And if it survived all our terrible YouTube videos, an AI might reach the obvious conclusion: humanity is on the verge of killing ourselves and is driving the planet towards a state that will be inhospitable, not only for human and animal species, but also for the computer servers running the AI. Imagine an artificial superintelligence deciding that human governance is failing the planet, opting to take control for the greater good. It sounds like science fiction, but the possibility is becoming more real every day. And we shouldn't forget the asymmetrical impact small nation-state actors can have when leveraging technology to evil ends. The potential for chaos is immense, hiding just beneath the surface of our interconnected digital world. Picture this: a world where each crisis does not exist in isolation, but is a link in a chain, a domino in a line. When one falls, the others follow in a cascading collapse. This is how real-world disasters unfold as environmental, economic, political, and technological crises converge. It's a recipe for a rapid, comprehensive breakdown of the systems we rely on. Experts from various fields warn of such scenarios, where the sum of crises is greater than its parts, leading to a collapse that is not just possible but probable if our current trajectory remains unaltered. And so we arrive at a stark reality check. The year 2024 may not herald an immediate collapse, but it could mark a significant slide towards a world increasingly difficult to inhabit. The scientific consensus is clear and unambiguous. Climate change, resource depletion, environmental degradation. These are not distant threats, but present-day realities. Every scientific discipline points to the same conclusion. And more our pop culture and movies reflect our global conscious. We might not face an immediate apocalypse as a tipping point in 2024, but every sign indicates a world becoming less stable and forgiving. 2024 may not be a countdown to collapse, but as we demand more and more from dwindling resources, tipping points will continue to slip out of control. The time to act may be past, but it is not too late to adapt. Follow along as we chronicle the crumbling collapse of complex society and the ways we can make the most of our lives during these times. tinyurl.com Extinction Hoodie,